Speak version equals 1.0 XMLNS equals http://www.w3.org/2001/10/synthesis. XMLNS. MSDTS equals https://www.w3.org/2001/MSDTS Lang equals NUS. Voice name equals NUS Neural. MSDTS. Express as style equals SAD. Style degree equals 1.8. Prosody rate equals -18%. Pitch equals -10%. I am 89 years old. I lied to my son. I lied to my daughter. I lied to everyone. About my mother, about my father. I didn't tell them the truth. I told them the stories I wanted them to hear. Growing up in Cleveland, Ohio, I was a good kid, or so I thought. My father, God rest his soul, was hard on me. He pushed me to be my best, but I thought he was just mean. He'd yell at me, get a job, or get out of my sight. I didn't understand. I thought he was just mad at me. I didn't realize he wanted more for me. Now, 75 years later, I'm sitting in my armchair, looking back. My kids grew up, got married, had kids of their own. They don't live here anymore, but they come visit me. They sit with me on my porch, and we talk about old times. I see the pain in their eyes, the same pain that I carried with me for so long. My daughter, Susan, always asked me about my father. She said, "Dad, why was he so hard on you?" I gave her the answers I thought she wanted to hear. I said he was just frustrated, or that he was a product of his time. I didn't tell her the truth. I didn't tell her about the nights I cried myself to sleep, the nights I felt like I wasn't good enough. But one day, Susan showed me an old photograph. It was a picture of my father, sitting on the porch, looking at me. I was just a young boy, probably 10 or 11 years old. My father was looking at me with tears in his eyes. I asked Susan, "Who took this picture?" She said, "I don't know." I looked closer, and I saw that the photograph was taken in 1945. That's when it hit me. My father was 22 years old when that picture was taken. He was a soldier, fighting in World War II. He came back to this country with a new perspective, with a new appreciation for life. He was a different man, but I didn't see it. I started to remember the times he'd talked to me about his experiences in the war. He'd say things like, "Son, I see the world differently now. I see the beauty in things I never saw before." I thought he was just being poetic, but now I realize he was trying to tell me. Nobody told me this. Nobody told me that my father was trying to pass on his wisdom to me. They lied to us, my generation, about the horrors of war. They told us it was just heroes and villains, good and evil. But my father knew better. He knew the truth. I feel ashamed of not telling my kids the truth about my father. Ashamed of not being honest with myself. But it's never too late, I tell myself. I can still tell them now. It's funny, when I was young, I thought my father was an old man. I thought he was set in his ways, that he didn't care about anything except his own happiness. But now, I see him as a young man, full of hope and dreams. I see him as a warrior, who fought for his country and his family. I wish I could go back in time, to sit with my 22-year-old father, to talk to him about his experiences. I wish I could ask him, "Dad, what did you want to tell me?" But life doesn't work that way. All I can do is sit here and try to make sense of it all. As I look back, I realize that my father's harsh words were a result of his own pain. He was trying to drive me to be better, to be the best version of myself. I was completely wrong. I thought he was just trying to control me. But now I see it. Now I understand. I wish I could turn back the clock to tell my kids the truth. I wish I could tell them about my father's wisdom, about his love for me. But it's too late now. All I can do is live with it. I'm not a historian. I'm not a philosopher. I'm just a man who lived through the 20th century. I lived through wars, depressions, and recessions. I saw things that no one should ever have to see. But through it all, I learned a valuable lesson. Life is precious. Life is short. We should never take a moment for granted. We should never assume that we have all the time in the world. I wish I had told my father that. I wish I had told him how much I appreciated him. It's funny, when I look at my grandchildren, I see my father in them. I see the same spark, the same energy, the same determination. And I think to myself, I'm going to tell them the truth. I'm going to tell them about my father's wisdom, about his love for me. I'm going to pass it down to the next generation. I'm 89 years old, and I finally understand. I finally understand what my father was trying to tell me. I finally see the truth. It's a painful truth, but it's the truth nonetheless. If this reached your heart, please subscribe. I still have things to say. /prosody /mstts express as /voice /speak